Best prospects in the UFC. ETHYN, the Professor Vanessa Ewing, baby. This guy is the elite. And we're going to be doing a tier list today. And we're going to match him up against the whole top 15 of bantamweight and see how he does. I think this guy definitely has championship potential. And it will only be a matter of time until this guy gets his belt around his waist. We see the image on the hair. This isn't AI. This is just going to be a couple years' time. So obviously he's going to be an experience. But we're going to go through the whole top 15. Starting with Marcus McGee. Ending with Pyotr Yan. Let's get into this shit, boys. So here's the tier list. Obviously, we got Ewing domination, self-explanatory. It'd be a competitive fight, he'd win 50-50. Close fight and he'd lose and he would get dominated. Does anyone dominate him though? Let's find out. Let's start with the 15th ranked contender, Marcus McGee. Competitive fight. It would be a competitive fight. McGee's good. Beat David Martinez. Before that, he was just starching everyone. That guy's Gaston Bolanos, not the best. Before Martinez was kind of canned, he was destroying them all. Lost to Pyotr Yan, was competitive. That's not a bad loss at all. Pyotr Yan is a champ, and right now I think he's kind of unbeatable. McGee also, he just beat a guy, I think Yanis. Is his name Yanis? Something. Yanis, he was a can who was like 1-1 or 1 win, 2 losses, and now maybe he's 1 win, 2 losses in the UFC. A guy who McGee I thought should have knocked out, and he took him to like a semi-competitive decision that he could very clearly won. But I think if you throw Ewing in there with Yanis, that will not be a competitive fight remotely. And I know Ewing's had competitive fights against Wellmaker, but that was 2 days' notice, bro. And Wellmaker was also he was on momentum. He wasn't just going up against Juan Diaz and just not throwing any punches at all. So yeah, McGee. Definitely Ewing would beat McGee, I can't lie. I'd be shocked if he lost to McGee, but I think it would be a competitive fight. Not an easy win. McGee's never looked easy, and he's only lost to Pyotr Yan in the UFC. He's a good fighter, pretty top 10 level. But it could be domination, but I'd go I think it would be competitive. Ewing, decision win, 29-28, pretty 30-27, 29-28 type decision. Yeah, McGee's good, but he ain't being Ewing, boy. Now on to Raoni Barcelos, one of my other favourite bantamweight fighters. He's an ung. He's crafty. He's a crafty vet. Maybe he can pull some bag of tricks. He's a really crafty vet. And he's old, but he seems to be reaching a resurgence. I don't know, physically not the best, but he's got good fight IQ, and he can craft it up. He is a crafty vet. But stylistically, Ewing would dominate Raoni Barcelos. I like Raoni Barcelos. He's probably my favourite. I think Ewing's my favourite bantamweight, but he's probably top 3, at least top 5 favourite bantamweights. I love this little title run he's going on. He beat Talbot. That's a really good win. He has wins over Cody Garbrandt. He has a really close win over Marcos Montel Jackson, which I do think he won. It was a really close fight, though. But he got he's chinny a little bit, right? No, he's not chinny. Let's say he's a bit like an Oliveira. He's rockable. He's very rockable. And I think it would be similar to the ETHYN fight. Dude, Ewing's takedown defense is crazy good, and Barcelos is going to be stuck on the feet. I think he's going to get pressured and knocked out in round 2 or 3. I think it will be dominant. Maybe Barcelos can be crafty on the feet. Maybe he'd land on Ewing in moments, but I think he'd get knocked out in round 2 or 3 here. And the unk run would be over. He's just old, dude, and 38, and I know he's on a run, but I just think it's a terrible matchup, a guy like Ewing. And Ewing would dominate. I think he would dominate Barcelos, can't lie. I think, he would dominate. And a guy with a similar-ish style, but not as entertaining. Raul Rosas Jr., let's move on to him. Rosas Jr., he beat Rob Font dominantly. Before that, he beat guys like Vince Morales and a bunch of cans. He hasn't beaten anyone good other than Rob Font. And this is a stylistic nightmare. Ewing would dominate Raul Rosas Jr. and it would not be competitive. Again, be very similar to the ETHYN fight. Very similar. I see it being maybe a decision because it could be a knockout. Rosas Jr. is tough, though. It's gritty, is tough. He doesn't have any quit in him. Got a Mexican. I guess you could call it the Mexican fighting spirit, but Barcelos would be past Barcelos, but this would be a similar domination, I think. Maybe not a knockout, he's not as chinny as Barcelos, but Raul Rosas Jr. would get absolutely schooled and smoked by ETHYN Ewing, and it would not be a competitive fight remotely. This fight is not competitive. Raul Rosas Jr. isn't that good. So yeah, Ewing would definitely dominate Raul Rosas Jr., similar to ETHYN. He's moved up, but he's still ranked in the division. Vinicius Oliveira, sorry brother, you'd get dominated. The way the guy rushes in, he's just going to get clipped by Ewing over and over again. He gasses out in 2 rounds. Probably get TKO'd or maybe subbed in round 2 or 3. he'd get taken down as well. Ewing's got really good grappling, showed it against Wildmaker. Judo throw, took him down at the end round. He showed really good flow as well and control. So yeah, I mean, Vinicius Oliveira, you don't have a chance against Ewing. He's just gonna he's gonna school him on the feet, and then maybe a club and sub or just a TKO in round 2 or 3 I'd see happening here. Oliveira isn't that good. He's a bit tough, I guess. He's wild, he's explosive. You can definitely catch Ewing, got a massive head, so you never know. But realistically, I don't see Oliveira doing anything to Ewing. Now on to an interesting fight, Peyton Talbot. Do I want to say 50-50? No, I would pick Ewing, but it would be really competitive. And I know styles make fights exactly here. Styles would make fights here. That would be such a sick fight one day. Talbot versus Ewing. Oh my god. But I think Ewing would mix it up a lot here, and he mixed up against Wellmaker, and Talbot's hittable on the feet, and Cejudo was cracking him. And it was not the Frank Ocean way. He was not getting cracked the Frank Ocean way. He was getting hit in the face, cracked in the face. I think Ewing would be able to, Ewing would land on him and probably win like a 29-28 decision, maybe get rocked in a round. I think he'd be able to take him down. He'd be able to take him down as well. He's showing improved takedown defense. Like, the guy inside tripped Emery Cejudo. He's well improved since the Barcelos. He's young, he's athletic, he can improve fastly. But I would lean Ewing slightly here. Mixing it up. Talbot's probably not going to mix. You never know, maybe he would, but Talbot's not really going to. I don't see him taking down Ewing. I think Ewing could take him down. He did take down the Olympic gold medalist, so I guess he could. Now I'm thinking about it. This could low-key be a 50-50. No, I think Ewing would. I might move us later, but I'm going to say competitive now. I think it'd be a really competitive fight. Like Ewing would 29-28, razor close win. I think he would just about beat a guy like Talbot. And Talbot's really good, especially and as Ewing's more of a striker. It's going to be more of a striking fight. They're both going to be good, and I probably just prefer the head movement of Ewing, and I prefer his striking a bit more, and his grappling's a lot better. So yeah, I would pick Ewing, but this Talbot versus Ewing would be such a sick fight one day. Now on to Marlon Vera. Not close. He would get dominated. He's a punching bag. He'd get just picked apart for 3 rounds. What does Vera actually do? He's got a bit of power. He can rock you. He rocked Zahabi, but then after that did nothing and lost a 29-28 decision. Would it be 29-28? I think Ewing 30-27 him and style on him, dude. That'd be such a sick beating. But yeah, Ewing would style on Vera. Not much to say here. Vera's a punching bag. He's ass. Don't know how he fought for a belt. It was an undeserved title shot. He got schooled by O'Malley, who's good, but he gets schooled by good fighters, and Ewing is a good fighter. So yeah, Ewing 100% would beat Vera. Now on to Davidson Figueiredo. Ewing would destroy Figueiredo and probably knock him out, I reckon. Or, maybe he gets him in a guillotine if he's going to quit that easy. The guy completely quit against Song Yadong, so, he's just completely washed and he doesn't care about winning anymore. He's just taking fights for the sake of taking fights. He's really active, but after Ewing, please, Ewing, don't make me look stupid. After Ewing, please. After he beats Bashrat, that could be a good fight, Figueiredo versus Ewing. But if Ewing, I don't think Figueiredo's retired, so I think he's still around, right? So yeah, but Figueiredo, Ewing would annihilate him, knock him out. It's not a close fight. Figgy's completely washed. He's old, and he doesn't want to be in there anymore. He's completely washed, and he just quits. A prime Figgy would never do that against Song Yadong ever. Even a Figgy fought Yarn. That was when he was actually there trying to win. Now it's he just doesn't care anymore. So yeah, Figgy would lose that. He's there for the paycheck every time. David Martinez, close fight. I'm picking Ewing, but it would be competitive again. David Martinez is good. He's very explosive. He's quite short. He has a lot of power for his height. He's explosive. Very good athlete. He's very young. He's always improving. But in this fight, I'd favour Ewing again by the head. Just the head movement is so good. The boxing, the kicks, he probably wouldn't take down Martinez, to be fair. He probably wouldn't, but 29-28, close decision. Maybe he gets rocked in a round because he's got a lot of power, David Martinez. He's very explosive. He beat Rob Font pretty dominantly. Beat Vera pretty dominantly. I think it might have been a 29-28, but I'd see Martinez probably having a good round 1. Maybe the pressure would start getting to him because he's normally on the back foot in round 2 and 3. He'd start getting ripped till the body up against the cage. Combos from Ewing, head movement, dips out the way, pull back counter. You know, Ewing, maybe he mixes up the calf kicks. Ewing gets it, dude. Ewing's a good fighter and he's got good fight IQ. Ewing he'd win that fight. I'd confidently pick him to win. It'd be competitive, though. Be competitive, probably decision. Oh, this would be a sick fight. Mario Bautista. Who would I pick, Ewing or Bautista? This might be a 50-50. Does he lose? Nah, Ewing would beat Bautista. I'll say 50. Am I mad in saying I'd probably lean Ewing 60-40? I don't think this is 50-50. Because Bautista, is he going to take Ewing down? He could, but I don't think so. And I think they both scramble with each other. Let's say this is 3 rounds. So we saw him dominate Vinicius Oliveira, but I don't rate Oliveira at all after seeing that performance. He gasses out in a round. He smudged Aldo and I thought it was a robbery win. He looked great against Patchy Mix, who was ass, and oh my god, Ewing would thrash and finish Patchy Mix easily. Now I'm thinking about it. He did go really competitive with Umar, but I'm pretty sure Ewing will go competitive with Umar. I'm gonna put him here. I think he'd beat Bautista. I think Bautista's really good. I think he's at that level. I'm pretty sure he'd beat Bautista. It could be a 50-50. Oh, that's hard. I'll leave it in 50-50 because they're both good strikers. I'll go 50-50, yeah. We will say 50-50. I might switch it back later, though. Anyway, God, that would be a sick fight. That fight can happen one day. On to Ayman Zahabi, who's fighting Sean O'Malley this weekend. He's about to get schooled. And it could be competitive, because he's... Nah, he'd get dominated. He's 38, again, another unk. Who is decent. He's got an awkward style. It could be a competitive fight, but I'd go viewing for pretty like 30-27 decision here. The schooling him on the feet, combinations, leg kicks, body shots would be money. Ripping up your head movement. He's slow. Zahabi's slow. He's not really talented, I wouldn't say. He's not a talented fighter. No, he's not a talented fighter, so yeah. I think I'd confidently pick Ewing to school Zahabi on the feet. Zahabi ain't that good. He's crafty, he's tough, probably survived to a decision, but I reckon he should get his ass kicked for 3 rounds straight there. Now on to Song Yadong. Interesting fight. I think Ewing's a top 5 contender, and you know what happens when Song Yadong fights a top contender? He'd go well competitive, but he would lose a decision. I think it'd be a competitive fight, like every Song Yadong fight is. I think it'd be close. I think maybe blast double and take down the Ewing in moments, but probably a moment, and then Ewing scrambles back up. I think he'd maybe rock and land on the feet on Ewing. But I think Ewing would win at least 2 rounds without boxing him. I favour the boxing Ewing. I favour the kicks. I favour the striking overall. I prefer Ewing striking over Song Yadong. And that's what it comes down to. I think Ewing would beat Song Yadong by decision. I really think he's this good. And this could be a bad take. This possibly loses to Farid Basharat. But I do think he's going to win that fight. And I think he's probably going to win the belt at some point, bro. I'm so high on Ewing. He's probably one of my favourite fighters right now. Obviously, Song Yadong is good. He just destroyed Figgy. He made him look like nothing. But... like, he would... I think he'd beat Song Yadong. It's close, but I think he'd beat Song Yadong. I can't lie. Now on to Corey Sandhagen. Does he beat... No, he doesn't beat Ewing. No. I'm going with Ewing by decision there. Am I overrating Ewing? I can see him beating everyone in the division other than Yan. I can't lie. I really can. And I think he'd beat Sandhagen. Sandhagen is good though. He went close with Marab and he is good, and he went close with Umar, but maybe it could be a 50-50, but I would favour Ewing to beat Sandhagen. I can't lie, I really would. I'm 60-40, 70-30. I would pick Sandhagen. I would pick Ewing to beat Sandhagen by decision. Close fight. I think he's at that level, man. I really do. And that fight of Estevan was crazy performance. The Wellmaker fight now isn't aging the best, but 2 days notice. If you're going competitive with a prospect at the time, not Wellmaker, that's not a bad look at all. And beating him on 2 days notice and showing great ability there. His technique looked really good. That wasn't a peak Ewing. Against ETHYN, we saw what he can do with a full camp, and he dominated and shut out and finished ETHYN. By the way, they didn't give him a fucking bonus flat. What are you doing? He deserved that bonus 100%. Anyway, back to the matchup. Sandagen's a good fighter. It would be close. Maybe a flying knee KO on that big dome head I could see happening, but I think Ewing would win a 29-28 close decision there. Now on to Sugar Sean O'Malley. I would pick O'Malley. I think it would be really competitive. Ewing's got his first loss, boys. And it's a really close fight. It's a really close fight. I think he would beat O'Malley. I think he would lose to O'Malley. I think O'Malley would win. I can't lie. I'm a huge Ewing glazer. I'll glaze him any day of the week. I think it's just quite a reasonably bad matchup. I think the range, he uses range well. Don't get me wrong, it would be really close. And it'd be like a 29-28 razor close decision. I think O'Malley would use his range, spinning back kicks to the body, front kicks, jabs, long range jabs. They probably rock him in moments by the pullback right hand counters I can see. You know, O'Malley's such a good fighter. I think he's good, and I think it would be a close decision. From what I've seen from Ewing's game so far, he is hittable. Sometimes he does overextend. We'll see if he goes out there and destroys Bashrat like he does ETHYN. Maybe he'll beat these guys. But I just can't pick him to beat O'Malley right now. I can pick him to beat Song Yadong and Sandhagen, but I think O'Malley's just a little bit above those guys. Yeah, and I think it would be a really competitive, probably similar to the Song Yadong fight. Ewing would wrestle 100%. Ewing could win, but I think he'd just lose a 29-28 again, like out range, rangy attacks. I'd go with O'Malley. I can't lie. I'd go with O'Malley, but it's very close. It's very close. Now on to Umar Nurmagomedov. Again, a competitive fight, but I believe Ewing would lose. Umar's really good. Ewing could rock him, Ewing could, but Ewing's grappling. He looked so good against ETHYN. Is he not a bad style for Umar? Am I crazy? Is he not a bad style for Umar? I see this being a striking fight, but yeah, Umar's got good striking though. He's got really good kicks. He's got decent boxing. He's a bit of a bitch though. He's kicking you with the foot. He's like punching to not really harm you. He's a bit of a bitch. He's can be a control wrestler. We saw that against the Bautista, basically just controlling him, not doing any damage. But he got him down. I think he would be able to get down Ewing. Ewing would be mainly boxing though, and I think with that stance trying to defend the takedown, he's going to get his leg chopped out quite a bit. He's going to get head kicks up high. He's going to be front kick to the body. I'd go with Umar, actually. Keeping his range, keeping it long, winning a 29-28 decision. Probably getting rocked or dropped in around because he's a bit chinny, Umar. Not chinny, he got good recovery, but he's a bit chinny, He can take a shot well, but he does get dropped and rocked a bit. So, yeah, I'd go with Umar, close decision there. Now on to Merab Le Machine Dvalishvili. Again, I think it would be a competitive fight. I don't see him beating guys like these guys yet. Not yet. If he improves, yes. And Merab's old, and Merab does get scar tissue. And I do believe Ewing can stop the takedowns, but I just think Merab's going to be able to push a pace on him. That's what I believe would happen. I think Ewing would probably win the first round, but if it's a 3-round, it's 5-rounder, 100% Merab. 3 rounds winnable for Ewing, but I'd lean Merab there. Merab also has good striking. He's pretty aggressive on the feet. Charge in, push in, get to evade, knee him in the thigh, drag him down, maybe gets back up, land punches, land good combos. Probably get rocked at one point, maybe early on. Maybe not rocked, but just get landed on a lot. Maybe he can make Merab look silly because he's got really good head movement, but I'd have to go with Merab. Ewing's just too inexperienced yet. Just too inexperienced right now. So yeah. Now on to, obviously, the champ right now, Piotr Yan. And this would be a 5-round fight because it would be for the belt, I'm saying the rest of 3-round, this would be 5. Yan would get dominated in 5 rounds. Ewing, yeah. Yan would put on a clinic. He'd probably win like a 4-1 decision, probably take off the first round and then just really build into it. Ewing would make it competitive though, in moments, but I think round 3, 4, and 5, it would start to be Yan dominating him. kicks to the body, probably taking him down in moments. I don't reckon he'd finish Ewing, because he doesn't really finish people. Jan, he's a bit of a he's a decision merchant, but he has scraps, so we can allow it. My boy Piotr Jan, probably my favourite bantamweight, other than maybe Ewing. My two favourite bantamweights, but yeah. I think Jan would win. You have to go with Jan now. He's got the experience. He's older. He's got, he's a bit of a veteran compared to him. Fought top guys. He's never... As an argument, he's never lost a decision other than Merab, and he's just beaten Merab 50-45, so... You can't pick Ewing in that fight now. If Jan gets a bit older and Ewing's improving, which he will be, maybe then you can. But right now, I'd have to lean Jan. But one day Ewing will get the belt on his waist, don't you? When these guys go, and he can beat these guys, I could potentially pick him against these three here. O'Malley, Umar, Merab. I think he could beat those guys. I think Jan's a fight that's really hard for him to win, stylistically. It's just a bad matchup. Low-key, I'm thinking he'd probably beat Bautista, but I'll leave that to 50-50 right now. But yeah, I'd have to go with Jan. He's got the experience, dude. He's been in the game for so long. He's also not even old, so he's still in his prime. Right now, you have to go with Jan, and I think Jan's unbeatable right now. I think some guys can give him issues, but I don't think I'm not picking anyone to beat Jan right now. So, yeah, anyway, I thought it was a great video. ETHYN Ewing, gonna be a problem. We're gonna see him put on a clinic at UFC 329. Be there or be square. Like, subscribe, because I'll see you next time. Goodbye.